Hello. A little bit different of a video. Um, we got an Inkwell's note today. I found out earlier. I was gonna call one of my friends, and we kind of just read through it and kind of discussed it. So I'm not gonna read through it because this is kind of a long one, but I will go over all the points and I'll just kind of like uh give my take on it, I guess. Being a new reboot player and having played reg server for basically my entire time playing the game, um, until like the past month. Also, I kind of recorded a video last Saturday and I didn't like how it went, so I just didn't upload it. More so, I exactly don't remember why I didn't like it, but I just know I didn't like it, so I just didn't want to upload it. So, apologies for that. And this Saturday I should have one. I'm gonna do my weeklies probably after this, so yeah. Um, all in all, I'm taking pretty chill. I like playing the game like much more like casually. Like I'm not super tryharding. I'm not like doing everything efficiently because doing that kind of just burns you out and makes the game unfun. And a game should be fun. That's the whole point. Anyways, time for this Inkwell's note. So the last Inkwell's note basically was saying it was more reboot focused. So I was talking about how like the Mesa changes weren't coming, um, the cube changes weren't coming, and basically like ensuring that reboot was like how it is. It's not getting like drastically changed like on KMS, which was a good thing for GMS as a whole because most of the players on GMS aren't reboot. So that was a good change. And here, this Inkwell's note has much more on reg servers, interactive world. I'll just call it reg server because I can't call it this. I can't be bothered. Anyways, so this is just like an opening paragraph. I will have the link in the description or like a pinned comment or something. So you can kind of read it for yourself if you want to. This is him talking about like what he's been doing here. They've been working on it since February and like just addressing certain concerns about like where your GMS is headed, especially with reg servers compared to KMS. So, all right, let's move on to reg servers, interactive world. Um, Here he's describing, the history of reg servers, talking about why they want to have parallel changes between with reg server and reboot compared to KMS. Why they're like diverting from KMS, which I think should have happened a long time ago, especially with like stuff like balancing, since GMS has green pod, zero attack speed that KMS doesn't have, and a lot of classes that are balanced around uh, the KMS cap of attack speed aren't balanced here. So classes like Demon Slayer are particularly broken because at zero attack speed, you can do a lot more damage than you can at what is it, two attack speed, or is it like eight attack speed that they have versus like 10 that we have here. It doesn't even show on the stat page. It's like it goes up to eight, but it's like 10. So like yeah, there's a lot of like minute differences that's been in the game for a long, long time that I feel like they should have changed earlier. I don't think that's getting addressed anytime soon, if at all. Um, Hopefully, they'll like have separate balancing for the game for like the different regions, but I think I'm asking for too much. Anyways, uh, trade restricted items. So this is a point that if you don't already know, the first person on GM has hit level 300. His name's Nero. He plays on Aurora, and he basically, when he was supposed to level up to 300, he chose not to in protest of the way that reg servers are being handled by Nexon, and basically was like, "Here's my problems with the game. Here's what I think should be fixed and like immediately." And then he was like, "I'm not leveling. Uh, I'm not playing the game." And then he went on to play other stuff like uh, Nintendo 64 games and stuff. And then he eventually came back and leveled, from what I understand. I wasn't in the stream at the time, but so I've been told he came back and leveled think like a week ago or something. I don't remember the timing, but he came back and leveled. But one of the things he addressed was the inability to trade stuff like soul artifragments and node stones, which the name interactive world means interactive. Like you should be able to trade these things with other people. That's the entire point of reg server. Um, it makes sense in reboot they can't do it because the entire point of the server is that you can't trade stuff. So like that makes sense. Here, I don't know why that was a thing. Thankfully, they're removing this. So a good point I want to make is that they specifically are enabling this for new items, like new generated items. So like new drops. So the patch is on. Why are these pictures? Why can't I? Whatever. The new patch will be on June 12th. That's the Dreamer update. They're renaming it to something else, but I'm still calling it Dreamer until they give a new name for it. So new soul artifragments that are dropped from mobs after the update, new node stones after the update, will be tradable. This means that anyone who already farmed a shit ton of like artifragments and node stones won't be able to trade the old ones. So the economy will get like a new influx of stuff, but from new sources. So you won't have a bunch of people like dumping like hundreds or thousands of like node stones and like solar fragments, tanking the economy. So I think the like change to this, like the way they planned this out was pretty good, in my opinion. They also say that they're looking to potentially do it with other things. So I don't know exactly what they could do it with. I haven't played for a while on reg server, so I don't know what could be changed. But like, obviously there are a lot of stuff that's untradeable that really should be tradable. The fact that we even have like karma like scrolls and stuff, like everything being a karma item, like cubes, like icogs and stuff, like why does that exist? Why do you have to make it so that like you have to wear the equipment in order to use it? It kind of defeats the point of it being interactive. So that's another thing I want to see them potentially look at, because having to, let's say you're on reg server and you buy like an arcane weapon, right? And then you want to like cube it, right? And you have a lot of these like karma solid cubes from an event shop or something, or if just from like an event that gives you for an attendance check. But you can't cube the thing while if you haven't worn it yet. You want it to be able to trade it, like either to someone else to maybe get cubes off of them, or even a separate account that you have that also is doing the event, and you want to be able to use your cubes on that because you worked for that. You can't do that because you have to wear it, make it untradeable, and then p-lock it, which costs either 4 KRP, which you can get once per month, or it's going to cost you $4 basically. I think it's really dumb the way that works, and that everything is a karma item now. Like all the event items are all karmas, and it's like it's kind of dumb. I think like if you're gonna make someone work for the item, work for like the usable stuff that they can use on an item, it should be able to use it on every like any sort of item that you can trade. Like I don't know why that exists. That's not the same as this, but like it's just something that came into my head just now. I do want that to change. So world merge. I disagree with this completely. They said they want to merge the servers together, like fully merge the servers. If they were to do this, it would be in next year in a few months. They specifically said that it won't be current worlds are kept as is, but they'll share a merged auction house type of situation. I feel like that should be what happens, because you don't. The problem isn't that people aren't interacting with each other. That is part of the problem, but like the game kind of is just a solo game now. Like everyone plays it by themselves. People only party for to do like super end game bosses, and when people can eventually solo those bosses, they stop doing it in parties immediately. Basically, immediately after they can start soloing it, most people will stop doing it in parties because of the way that drops work in this game. Drops work basically if you can solo the boss. If you get a drop, it's just yours. If you do it in a party, you have to split the drop, which makes sense. Um, but like having like pitch boss stuff be so rare and having it be like shared in a party makes it so people don't want to do bosses in parties. People do bosses in parties if they have to in order to actually clear the boss, because that makes sense. You want to clear the boss. If you have to do it in a party, do it in a party. But if someone can solo a boss, they will most likely always solo it because it just makes more sense. So I want to see them at least maybe change that before they start doing this, because the point of merging the worlds together is to get more people to interact with each other. That makes sense. Interacting, like players interacting with each other, makes the game overall more alive, I want to say. uh, Makes it more interactive, hence the name. But this won't fix the problem. That's not a problem that's fixable by merging the worlds together. Merging the auction houses together does fix one problem: the economy imbalance between the different servers, due to supply demand and population of different servers. I think Barra is the biggest server out of the four, and I used to play in Aurora. I know Aurora and Elysium. I don't know about Scania, but they used to have like pretty shit economies. Um, if you try to look for certain things, you won't find it. Certain like mass items that people usually want to buy like in mass, like I don't know if node stones are still a problem, but like for a while I couldn't find node stones in the auction house, or they're just super overpriced because one person. Yeah, so fixing that problem would just be merging the auction house. That would literally fix the entire problem. Um, so yeah, I don't particularly agree with this unless you change the way that the game is fundamentally played at like an end game level, which I don't think they're going to do. So I particularly don't agree with this. There's nothing wrong with it per se, but like it doesn't fix what it's trying to fix, I think. So yeah. Anyways, frenzy totems. So this is the biggest point I think for reg servers. The fact that the game, like once you play after like a while with frenzy totem, even like they do mention here that you can buy frenzy service, like frenzy totem service, so they do acknowledge that that exists. um, so okay, let me go over this section first. So they're basically talking about frenzy totem, what frenzy totem is, and the problem that frenzy totem brings to the game. Because there are so few frenzy totems, they're in like the hands of specific few players, and that frenzy totem service basically makes the game very imbalanced. Because if you can afford to buy a frenzy service, or you have a frenzy, the rate at which you progress in the game is exponentially faster than someone who doesn't have access to one, either by choice, so they don't want to pay for it, or they can't afford to pay for it because they're new. New players cannot like functionally pay for the service because it costs money, and they need money to upgrade their stuff. If they're paying for a service and not actually getting to upgrade stuff, or upgrading stuff so slowly that it's not worth for them to play, why do they play? So yeah, this is a problem that existed for, I want to say, 8 years at this point. I think Frenzy Zone came out in 2016. I might be mistaken, but it's been out for about 8 years, give or take, and it's the first time they've actually addressed the problem. So at least there's that. Okay, so what is my take on Frenzy Totems? Frenzy Totems is the biggest issue currently facing that reg servers currently face. Um, it is singularly the most broken item in the game. Being able to have 3 times, or cut the spawn rate essentially to a third of what it is, makes the game so different to play. If you play with Frenzy Totem for like, let's say a couple months, right? You pay for Frenzy Totem, you do like a training spree for a couple months, and you buy Frenzy service or something, or you have your friend Frenzy you for a couple months, and then you stop. You stop getting Frenzy. The game becomes so unfun to play. Doing dailies becomes so unfun. Doing the solar daily of killing 3,000 grandest mobs becomes so unfun. It becomes like, it's so bad. Like it feels so bad to play. Um, I'm a little bit more used to normal spawn rate now that I'm playing on reboot. Like it's fine on a reboot. I don't particularly care that much about it, but on reg server, when I didn't have frenzy, it actually just felt so bad. It felt I would not do my dailies because I didn't have frenzy. Like I wasn't gonna pay for like dailies. That's kind of dumb. So sometimes I would do it, and like a lot of days when I just didn't feel like it, I just wouldn't do it. So it hampers your progression a lot. Obviously, it's a choice you make to not do your dailies because you don't have frenzy. Like it sounds like not a big deal, but it is a big deal for the main problem they have, which is new player retention. New players would almost always play on reboot because reboot's easier to progress in. Reboot is simpler to progress in. It makes more sense being able to just buy your thing, buy your upgrade stuff with Meso, compared to like all the convoluted systems we have. Star Force being like insanely stupid and unfun, cubing being unfun, especially bonus pot cubing, scrolling being whack as fuck. Sometimes you want to use traces, sometimes you want to use primes. What do you use on hards, etc., etc. Scrolling weapons. Now you have magical scrolls. Now you have the 23, the +1 Star Force scroll. They can use up to 23 stars. There's like so much random bullshit that they have in the game that mechanically, like in systems, that like is actually just unfun. And then this is the key driver of progression in reg servers. Frenzy totems are what gives the most progression. Being able to farm XP, farm meso, farm drops from mobs at 3 times the rate that you normally would is huge. It's a permanent 3x buff basically for everything that you can do with a mob. So how I think they should fix it, ideally in a customer-centric approach and not really caring about profit, which this is Nexon. They always care about revenue, so this won't happen. I can almost guarantee it. But what I think they should do is just make the base rates the same, if not a little bit worse than Frenzy. This makes it, if the base rate is the same as Frenzy, then Frenzy is basically useless. Now, you might ask, what about the people who own a Frenzy totem? Oh no, they're wasting $10,000 on buying the thing. Okay? That's a bad investment. This game is not an investment. Don't take it as an investment. Don't use it as an investment. Never use that as an investment. This is not the stock market. It is a video game. A good example I want to say is the Battleroid. So what a Battleroid, what it did, basically, it functions as a buff freezer that's an Android. So you never have to have a buff freezer. Now, in one of the better Maple updates, I don't know when, but it was like a while ago actually, they changed it so you don't lose any of your buffs upon dying. And they stopped selling buff freezers, and Battleroids became worthless. Battleroids still exist. I think the male and female Battleroids look kind of cool, so having them, be cool looking is great. But they don't serve any functional purpose anymore, and they used to cost a pretty penny. I think it was like $150, roughly, give or take, with market prices. The equivalent of that basically in Mesa, which is like at the time was like 14, 15 bill. But yeah, you could basically, people saw it as like an investment. A lot of people would buy Battleroids at slightly lower prices to sell it at slightly higher prices, and they would see it as an investment. It's very stupid. Don't do it. But the same thing should apply to Frenzy Totem. Obviously, Frenzy Totem has a much larger price tag. TOS alert, TOS alert. I mean, okay, to be fair, everyone knows that, RMT exists, so we're just gonna pretend, it's the equivalent of Maple points. Frenzy Totems are worth roughly around $10,000. Whoa, huge investment. Why would you make this worthless? Because it's good for the game. That's the only reason. Frenzy Totems are really bad for the game, especially when there's so few of them. So, in my personal opinion, the base rate for GMS, reboot and non-reboot, but if you want to be picky about it, some people would say, oh, reboot shouldn't have this, or, I personally don't care. If Reboot gets it, great. If Reboot doesn't get it, also fine. Um, but at least for reg servers, they should at least have base frenzy spawn rate so that every player who plays reg server has a reason to play it, has a reason to stay because it feels good. Most classes, actually every class post Dreamer update, will be able to full clear a map with Soul Janus. So like if you can full clear a map and you're waiting like 6 seconds, what's the point? So yeah, that's kind of it. So that's what I think they should do. Now, what they said are alternatives that are being reviewed are putting Frenzy Totem back into the Marvel machine or providing a service. So providing like items for sale with basically the same functionality as Frenzy Totem. So basically, what I predict is they'll either put it back to Marvel, which makes it so that you have to gamble for it, which I don't approve of, or they would do like a monthly subscription thing kind of thing where they like give you they sell you a month's worth of frenzies totem basically, like maybe like a cash item from the cash shop that gives you basically, oh, here's the frenzy skill, go ham for 30 days or something, or for like a month, and it'll cost like $30 or something. So that's what I could see them doing. um, Obviously I will want what I said basically, due to the fact that it helps retain new players. You don't have to spend money to get this this giant vector progression. Um, yeah. Well, I don't think they'll do what I said, and obviously this isn't even in their like lists of options. So this is what's being changed. So this is the big change. This is like the biggest change for reg servers. And the fact that like they don't have anything concrete on it is kind of concerning. But we'll basically have to wait and see what happens in September. So to all the people who are like, oh, reg servers are saved. Oh, they're so good. Like Nexon's so good. Oh, Inkwell's like the best person or something. Nah, let's make it clear. This guy, this fucker, is behind a lot of the really bad systems we have in the game. So try to take it with like a grain of salt. What I would say, what I've been saying is keep like an air of like cautious optimism. Obviously, addressing the issues is good, but they don't offer any actual solutions because this isn't a solution. The auction house is a solution for the economy, but the point of having an interactive world where people interact with each other is inherently not there when the way that the end game functions as it does. And frenzy totems, they literally just say nothing. They just address the problem, which, to be fair, it's been about a decade and they haven't addressed the problem in about a decade. So this is a step for them, but this means literally nothing. Like if you actually read it and you understand the problem with frenzy, you will know that this post, this section, means nothing. It's just them saying there's a problem. Wait till September. So yeah, be kind of aware of like how this plays out. Obviously, if you're watching me, you're probably a reboot player, so this doesn't affect you at all. None of this affects you, but it's nice to know what's happening in the game. So that's why I choose to cover this. All right, Maple Workshop. This does impact reboot, so this is pretty big, especially for reboot. Let's go over the shop, basically what changes. So this is not affecting reboot, but they've added a lot of stuff. So for reg servers, we have 5 bonus pod cubes. This is a good change. I don't remember when exactly, but there was 1 month that the game has been alive that there were B pod cubes in the reward shop for 1 month only, and then they never put it back in. This is a good change, honestly, but 5 B pod cubes is not going to solve the B pod problem. Bonus potentials are ass. They are so bad. Like having a cube bonus pots, ugh. You get B pod cubes from like the the boss coin shop every event now, so you get like a decent amount of them now. But like, still, that's like every 3 months you get like 40. Like that's not gonna cover much. So yeah, it's a nice change. 5 extra per month is actually good, but they need to address the problem of actually like cubing stuff. Cubing stuff is retarded. Uh, R word. Sorry. Um, ew. I need to find a better term for that. It's I would say unfun. It is unfun. Like if you've ever cubed a bonus potential, especially for a weapon, and you didn't just get gifted like a 2-line B pot, it's absolute hell. Like it sucks. You can blow like easily $1,000 on a bonus potential. It's so stupid. I personally have blown $1,000 on a bonus potential. It sucks. Anyways, Android naming coupon, no limit, good change. Item tags, good change. This is really good. People want to flex their items. You have to buy it with NX or Maple points. Now you can buy it with reward points. So they actually have useful reward point stuff. The purchase limit of all these scrolls are changed. Now I don't know if they're removing superior shielding awards, because why are those still in the game? Those are only used for tyrants. No one uses tyrants. Anyways, just something I wanted to rant about. But shielding awards for primes, shield scrolls, or whatever, guardian scrolls for icogs and primes, return scrolls for icogs, pretty good. You have unlimited return scrolls now, so if you know you're cubing or no, you're scrolling something with icogs for a month and you don't really need the cubes, you don't need anything else from reward point shop, just get return scrolls forever. You can. Respawn tokens, no limit. I don't think anyone buys these. Safety charge, no limit, is okay. Again, you really shouldn't have to buy these unless you're just not paying attention in the map and you just happen to die. Then unfortunate. Sharing tags, unlimited. What are these even used for? I don't even know. Extra character slot coupons. This is pretty nice. You don't have to wait for events to buy these anymore. You can just buy the reward points. And then these, I never understood why there was a limit to buying hyper teleport rocks. You get a 7-day one and you get like 2. That's 14 days. There's the month with the least amount of days is 28 days. So you get a teleport rock for half the days. Makes no sense. Anyways, now you can buy 4 7-day ones and then plus extra. So if you want a teleport rock forever, you basically can get it now with reward points as long as you play the game. Miracle circulators, these are pretty good if you're trying to tier something up to tier an ability up to legendary. Obviously, they have the legendary circulators in event shops now, so it's kind of less useful. You just get a legendary circulator, get to legendary, use your honor EXP points during an event, which also they should change that to be just permanently half off, because the thing still sucks. It blows. Anyways, reboot. Reboot gets hair slot coupons, face slot coupons. This is good. Having gone from reg server to reboot and not being able to buy these reward points, I was like, huh? Why? I eventually did use the ones from the Lin event, and then I think I bought a couple. I think I bought like maybe 1 or 2 with maple points. So this change, pretty good. I like it. Pet snacks. Why is this not a thing? Not having 3 pets is actually just trolling. So you would have to spend $2 and what is it, 50 cents or 40 cents, something like that, or you'd have to play reg server and get maple points to get it, or you just have to get maple points randomly to get it. So having this be in the role point shop is pretty good. You can get basically 1 a month, so every character can get 1 of these a month. You can get 1 for a new character every month. It's pretty good. Okay, this big change, huge change, enormous, massive change for reboot. You can buy transparent stuff. Holy shit, this is game changing. This is truly the biggest change they've done for reboot. I don't care about anything else. The base of nerfs doesn't impact nearly as much as Fashion Story. Being able to buy transparents with reward points, insane. I'm pretty sure you could just always do this on KMS, but here you just cut it. So now you can. This is very nice. You can now have permanent transparent NX as long as you have reward points, which if you're on reboot, you will, because none of the things here you will ever buy. So that's pretty good. I personally have 90-day transparent NX that I bought with random Maple points I had because I played Reg server, so I did have like some Maple points going into reboot, which is fine. Like, I didn't mind spending it, but this just makes it easier. And you get free pets. Woo! Free pets. Nice. And you can buy unlimited Waters of Life. So you don't have to plan out every month what are you going to buy it for. You just, if you have extra reward points, you could just buy more Waters of Life. So that's also a pretty good change. Overall, reward point change is pretty good. I like it. Then they're talking about upcoming updates. Okay, this I don't particularly understand. They're saying that they're going to change the updates, like the game updates, the big updates. So just changing the name, is that it? Are we doing anything else? Are we like they said they'll change the name? Okay, cool. And they're changing the release schedule for certain things. Okay, but it's essentially still the same thing that KMS got. What's different? They didn't announce anything different. They said that the base system is the same. Obviously, it makes sense. Reboot was going to literally die if they didn't do this, so this had to be changed. This is changed. The High Mountain dungeon was changed because the maple coins that you use, that you would get from it, aren't actually useful. So they replaced it with solar fragments, which good change. But like, what exactly about this update is like drastically different besides like this? And they're adding Grandis familiars in the July update, which is nice. So this means that you can actually farm Soul Urda and Soul Urda fragments at the same time as you're farming familiars. You don't have to literally go back to Arcane River to do it, which is a nice change. But what is the big difference? Like, the fundamental update is the same. It's just we have some extra GMS stuff on top of it. Like, what's so different? Anyways, this is why I don't understand like them making big claims and not actually doing the big claims. Like, this was supposed to happen before this update, so this is keeping it the same. This is not actually changing anything. This is taking a change that KMS had, because it's going to be so bad that it would literally kill the game. They're like, yeah, we're reluctantly not doing it. This is because of this change, so that makes sense. And this is just something people ask for, which in my opinion, good change, good addition. I like it, but nothing else really has changed unless the patch notes come out and then like something very drastic changes. So again, they're talking a big game and not actually doing anything yet. So, and then what are closing remarks? And you get like some free stuff. So if you are playing right now, go log in, get your free stuff. It's not that important, but like, free symbols, free experience note stones, glasses, growth pots, pretty good. And that's it. So my takeaway from this is they've said a lot of big things. They've made a lot of big proclamations, further diverting from KMS, which they should be doing. This, like, the reward point shop stuff is actually like legitimately there. It's stuff that has been like cemented. It's changes that are actually happening in the future that players can actually interact with. So this is a very good change. All this, very good. I very much like it. It's very good. This, nothing actually being done. This, nothing actually being done. This, stuff actually being done. So pretty good, but most people watching this probably aren't really interested in this. So, but for me personally, this is a decent change, and it's a good philosophy for later in the game when more things come out like this. So I actually like it because of the way that they're working towards like making stuff tradable that should be tradable. Like, this is tradable in KMS. Why is it not tradable here? Anyways, this world merges. Nothing actually happening. It's just talk. frenzy totems, nothing actually happening. It's just talk. Upcoming updates, there's a small amount of stuff happening. Giant talk. So this post is literally just all talk. Plus some actual good changes like the Warpoint shop stuff. So yeah, that's my takeaway from it. They need to actually prove that they're serious about making these changes. It's not just a saving face kind of kind of thing for like their big update coming up. So they want to like have good PR, especially when they just fired their community manager for mentioning Nero in the live stream and then proceeded to delete the live stream footage. Like, you don't have that much goodwill with the community, and doing this obviously helps with that. But if it's just talk to make yourself look better, eventually in a couple months people will be asking, hey, what about these changes that you've been talking about? Where are they? What does it look like? And if you don't have something there, then this means nothing. So if this is a temporary short-term thing, then sucks for them. But if they're actually going to actually do something, then great. So I hope they actually do something. I hope this isn't just talk and they actually are doing stuff. Because what it looks like right now is it's simply just a lot of yapping. I'm also yapping. It's almost 40 minutes of yapping, but this just sounds like a lot of yapping. So yeah, hopefully stuff actually happens, things actually change, the game gets better. People actually want to play on regular servers because they want to, trade with friends, or people come back from reboot because they want to play with their friends that are still on reg server. Hopefully it does happen. I think it'd be good for the game, just having more people. So yeah. Am I missing anything? I don't think so. Anyways, I'll post a link to this thing. You can read it for yourself. But yeah. Okay. It's a lot of yapping for me. I'll probably do my weeklies in a bit, and I'll just upload that too. And I'll just do this now. All right, cool.